inside the NBA, I'm happy it's still going on.
Yeah, I'm happy it's going on, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, this would be different.
ESPN has a great relationship with the NBA, and they said, yeah, we'll bring that show over. You won't see it as much. Put it on the shelf a little bit. It felt very, very big at one time, and now it's invisible. So I don't know. I'm just saying conjecture, but I know there were people upstairs in the NBA office that didn't like how they lampoon the league and some of the players.
Flashback. And I've told Adam this, so I'll say this again. If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product. And that's really what has happened over the last 10 to 15 years. I don't know why. It's not funny to me.
Yes, sir. Captain Ernest, sir.
Is that Derek White or Stephen A? Damn, Stephen A. Stephen A played for the Celtics.
When you talk about the most significant basketball voice of the 21st century, one man stands alone. The funniest, most impactful figure is undoubtedly Charles Barkley, anchoring the TNT desk with Ernie, Kenny, and Shaq. It is the greatest studio show in history, period. Sure, the chemistry is electric, but the secret sauce is that it is completely unscripted and genuine. They do not fake it. If the last decade of basketball has been lackluster, they say it. They are not afraid to tell you the product stinks, even if modern fans get sensitive about it.
And you got a guy making $85 million, and he says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to play back-to-back games. It's ridiculous to think fans are going to pay as much as it costs to go to games now. And now you're going to have to go out and start doing streaming going forward. It was a 2-on-1.
Oh,
and the dude could have got a layup
on the Knicks.
And he went out to the three-point line. It was a 2-on-1.
Knocked away. Payne has got it. Hart's with him. Bridges for three.
That's terrible.
Pause right there. That is the Times inside the NBA Times we know and love. But now that it has moved to ESPN, even though the cast is the same, something huge has changed this season. We barely see these guys. They pop up maybe once a month. I think they have aired something like 4 times total this year. You have to ask, why would ESPN spend money on a legendary show just to hide it? The answer is pretty straightforward. It is a deliberate strategy. Look at ESPN's partners. Who are they in bed with? Disney and the NBA. Adam Silver. Think back to last season. What was the dominant conversation during the first half of the year? Everyone was asking, what is wrong with the modern NBA?
I heard J.J. Redick said something about me. J.J., you better calm down, because when you come for the king, you better not miss.
Did he name you specifically, or was he just talking about folks on TV?
What did he say? He said something about we're the reason people ain't watching this crappy product we got. That's J.J. Yeah, us, like we out there jacking up 103 a night. J.J., I don't know Jason Monroe. I don't know who that is, but J.J., if you come for the king, you better not miss.
Let's pause. Last year, Charles was relentlessly vocal. He called out the declining quality of the game and the entitled attitude of modern superstars. The problem for the league was that he was right. His critiques hit the bullseye, and you know that infuriated Adam Silver, the coaches, and the players. So, how do you solve a problem like Charles? Simple. You silence him, bring him under the ESPN umbrella, and bury his show so he only speaks once a month. Bottom line, Charles Barkley told the truth, and it started hurting the NBA's wallet tremendously.
They got some really great players today, but it's really just become a three-point shooting contest.
Might have just gotten an email saying we got to have the emergency.
7 minutes for the former All-Star.
Nembhard had when Halliburton didn't play. As Halliburton shot the air ball, Nembhard had 31.
They have been effectively muted by a network that answers to Disney and the NBA. Call it a conspiracy if you want. But look at the facts. All these parties share one interest: protecting the bottom line. Charles's criticism of the modern game was bad for business. Hello, I like money. When you survey the landscape of sports media, Charles is the biggest personality by a country mile. He is the most influential voice, and crucially, the most honest. Is he right 100% of the time? Of course not. But you always know you are getting his honest opinion. Compare that to the crews on NBC or Amazon Prime. Great production value, sure, but the analysts are company men. They are there to sell you the product, offering only rare, safe critiques.
But how has Anthony Edwards regressed?
Because he's taking too many threes, in my opinion.
Way too many.
Because Ernie, when he's such a terrific player,
If you're guarding him, you want him shooting threes.
Ernie, if I am guarding a slasher like that, I times want times him settling for jump shots. The issue with other networks is they hire guys fresh out of the league. What happens? They pull their punches. They played against these guys 5 years ago. They are friends. They are not going to be critical. That is a weakness. Charles retired in the early 2000s. He does not know these young guys personally, and frankly, he does not care to. That distance is his strength. The other guys are too close to remain objective. Their commentary tilts positive because they are buddies. Meanwhile, Charles is saying, if you went to this game, you clearly had nothing better to do today.
I tell you what, you had nothing to do today. Oh, my goodness. If you went to this game, you had nothing to do today.
Charles kept it real. And as the saying goes, the truth hurts. Just ask Kevin Durant, who is notoriously thin-skinned. Looking at KD's reaction on Twitter, come on, man, take a joke. Charles was right. If you offered free tickets to 99.9% of Americans for that matchup, they would still stay home. God bless the fans who went. But let's be honest. Nobody is rushing to see the Wizards play the Hornets, even for free.
Wizards have gone to Jameer Watkins. This is Watkins, just checked into the game. Ooh. George. LaMelo left it short. Head of the pack, this is Riley. Can't run down, a long pass. It is. Okay, that's, maybe he did it for purpose. Trying to pad his stats.
One for their last 11 from 3.
People claim Charles is too negative. They say he never gives players credit. That is false. Look at the track record. When guys like Steph Curry, Jokic, or even the rookies play well, he lavishes them with praise. What he refuses to do is hand out participation trophies. If you want cheerleaders who pretend everything is amazing, that is your prerogative. Go live in that fantasy world if you want, but reality is different. Players have flaws. The product has issues. If we do not call it out, it gets worse. Charles Barkley is the backbone of honest criticism and the only real defense we have against toxic positivity in sports media. Take a look at the coverage on NBC or Amazon Prime right now. Everything is just sunshine and rainbows. It is so overhyped that it feels completely manufactured in plastic. Is it okay to hype up the good stuff? Absolutely. But here is the real question. When the chips are down, do they have the guts to rip into players for bad habits that are actually ruining the sport? I haven't seen a shred of that yet, though who knows? Maybe the script flips down the road. Speaking of scripts, let's talk about Chuck and the Inside the NBA crew. We all want them to keep that same unfiltered energy. The issue? ESPN basically put a muzzle on them and sidelined the whole operation for the first half of the year. Looking back at last season, the motive is crystal clear. Charles didn't hold back. He went after the disastrous all-star format, the load management nonsense, and the endless barrage of three-pointers that made every single game look exactly the same, week in and week out. That is the crux of the video right there. Look, Sir Charles isn't there to give you a masterclass on pick-and-roll schemes or defensive rotations. That is not his bag. His value comes from holding players accountable and calling out the league's nonsense when they step out of line. That is Barkley at his absolute peak. But ESPN, they put a leash on him. They effectively silenced him for months. In my book, that was a calculated move designed specifically to shield Adam Silver and protect the corporate image. Here is the reality check. The fans aren't blind, and right now, the on-court product is average at best. Anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you dug the video, and I will catch you on the next one.